If you're looking for a job and you want to know if AI can help you, absolutely. I'm going to be talking to you about how to use AI to find the right job, because there's a sea of possibilities out there, to get the best application in, and then how to prepare for an interview. And there is a lot that AI can do for you. I'm going to walk you through it all. I'm also going to provide for you all of the prompts that you need, and I'm going to talk you through exactly how to use them and how to get access to these prompts, etc., etc. So stick with me. Let's do this. Boom shakalaka. Now, here is my cheat sheet, and you can access this, of course. And in it, we've got prompts. So if you go down to any of these headings, like a career discovery interview, and this is an interview that the AI will do with you to get a better sense of what it is that you're looking for. I'm going to talk you through this in detail, but here's the prompt for you. You don't have to memorize or learn all of this, not a problem. All you do is you go to the cheat sheet, you hit copy, you go to Claude or whatever AI you're working with, paste that straight in, and push enter, and boom shakalaka, it's going to do the work for you. I'm going to walk you through all of these prompts. You are going to love them. So stick with me. Let's do this. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk you through how it is that you can access this cheat sheet. And it's for free, by the way. We're going to do this in 3 separate videos. The first video, the one that you're watching right now, is how do you find the right job? Okay. And that's going to involve doing an interview with your LLM, with your AI. And by the way, you can use any of them. You can use Gemini, you can use ChatGPT. I'm using Claude, and I've actually tested these prompts in all 3 of the sort of major language models. I've found that I think Claude does the best job of this, so keep that in mind, but it's absolutely up to you, and all of the prompts work in all of the language models, right? So we're going to talk about finding the right job. The next video is going to be about getting your application in, getting your CV ready, etc., etc. And the final video is going to be about preparing for the interview and actually doing a mock interview with your AI, a talking mock interview where you actually answer questions out loud. And that will be based on all of the information that you've gathered working with the AI right from this early stage of finding a job, right? Because at this early stage, you're going to be giving the AI lots of information about what your preferences are, what your skills are, what you're good at, etc., etc. Okay, so that's the overall view, but let's get stuck into this first one, how to find the right job for you. In this video, we're going to cover 3 things, and these are really important, and they're going to be important for this entire process. The first is we're going to get the AI, the language model, to do an interview with you. It's going to ask you a lot of questions, and it's going to get a sense of who you are, what you're good at, what your preferences are, where you want to go, where you want to live, what kind of salary you're looking for, etc., etc. Stuff that's not in your CV, because of course we're going to upload your CV as well, but the stuff that's not in your CV that'll help it better understand the kind of organization you're looking for, the kind of job you want to apply for. The next thing we're doing in this video is right here, we're going to build a rank-ordered list of target organizations, right? So there's a lot of possible organizations out there that you might want to work for. It's going to generate that list for you. It's going to do it using this prompt. It's going to do the search for you, but it's going to create a table that is rank ordered according to your preferences. And it knows your preferences because we've just done that big long interview where it's gotten a better sense of you. And then finally, we're going to get it to do a search for you against the top ranked organizations that you might be interested in. Find live open jobs that you can apply for right now and rank order those by the criteria of which you are most likely to be successful in applying for. Let's get stuck in. And I just want to tell you this. The prompts that I'm going to provide you with, they will for the most part do what I say that they're going to do. There may be subtle differences, things that you want done slightly differently. That's fine. What I would suggest is this. You cut and paste the prompt in, you say go, and let it do what I've instructed it to do in the prompt that I've drafted. Then, if it doesn't produce an output in exactly the way that you'd like it, so if it does a job search and you sort of think, actually, hold on, I would have preferred that you looked a little bit more closely at jobs in my area or jobs that are in Geneva, that's fine. This is a conversation you have with the language model. So whatever output it produces, give it feedback and say, I like it, but I would prefer that you included A, B, and C, or that you did A, B, and C differently, and it'll do it. So don't worry if the prompts aren't exactly perfect first time. They are meant to be a starting point for a conversation that you have with the language model. So let's jump right in and have a look at the first prompt. This is a career discovery interview that the LLM does with you. You can do it in voice mode if you want. So it's just a talking back and forth. It'll ask, you can, if you put your LLM into voice mode, it'll speak the question to you. You can speak the answer back. I find that that's quite natural, and I like like to engage with the language models like that. Not everybody does. It's completely up to you. It might be easier just to use text. Fine. But it's going to do an interview with you to get a better sense of your preferences. Now, why this is important is that output becomes part of the project that you're working in, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a second. And when you've got that built into the project, that information informs everything else we do in this process. So this is maybe the most important part of the process. This interview could be 5 minutes. I'm going to suggest that you make it much longer than that. Make the interview as long as possible, because the more information you give the language model about yourself and about your preferences, the better it's going to be at finding the right jobs for you. So take the time. Let it interview you, and that will make everything else about what we're going to do run much more smoothly. So here is the actual prompt. I know it's quite long. Don't worry about that, because you don't have to know what's in it at this point. You're going to push copy, then you're going to go into Claude, you're going to push paste. I've already pasted in there, and you're going to push run. I've already done that. So let me show you the output that it created. So here's the candidate profile that it created of me. I actually specifically asked it to produce the candidate profile as an HTML file, in other words, like a web page, so that I could show you this information. In actual fact, it doesn't really need to look this good, because this is just information that's going to be sitting in your project. So, this is just visually quite nice, and I gave it that little bit of an extra instruction. You don't need to worry about that. The point is that after interviewing you for about 10-15 minutes, I would suggest I did 10-15 minutes. I would suggest you do longer. I would suggest you spend an hour talking to the LLM about this, but it will give it a good sense of what it is that you want out of a job, and that will inform everything about this going forwards. Now, before we carry on, you'll notice that I'm working in what's called a project, and you might not know what I mean by that. Okay, when you're working with an LLM or a language model, be it Claude, be it ChatGPT, be it Gemini, it doesn't matter. You can create a project. And the important thing about a project is that you can keep all of the relevant files about that particular project all together in one place and come back to it, and it'll always have them stored together. And you can see in this case, I've got all of the outputs of the conversations I've been having on this particular subject matter all stored in one place. Basically, within Claude, you can just go into projects, you can say create a new project, and then give it a name, and then it will create a new project. Inside the project, you can upload files. Now, in this particular case, the only file that I've uploaded really was my CV. After that, I created files inside the project, and I included them in the project, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You can see on the screen at the moment, one of the outputs of the prompt, and actually this is the next output we'd be looking at, is, create a short list of organizations that I might be interested in. Here's the output that it created. The prompt is up here. There's the prompt. I cut and pasted it in straight from the cheat sheet. It rambled on a little bit, but then it created this output. I click on that. It pops up on the screen over here. I can look at it as a bigger sort of spreadsheet with all the organizations that I'm interested in. But here's the important part. I get an option here of add this to the project, right? And the same feature exists in the other language models. It's not just Claude. And when you add it to the project, it becomes something that you can then re-reference within that project, and it sits inside the project as one of those little files that you have. So you don't need to save it to your desktop and then re-upload it into the project. It'll just stick it straight in there for you to have and reference. And that actually does bring me to the second prompt that I wanted to show you, which is build a rank ordered list of target organizations, right? So it's going to search the internet, given what it knows about your preferences, right? It knows now that it's interviewed you, what it is you want to do and where you've been, and it's seen your CV. And now it does a search around the world, and it looks for organizations for which you might be a good fit. And this prompt will do all of that. It does a good job of it, and then it'll produce this kind of output for you. And look, everything is rank ordered according to what would be the best fit for me, and it created, in this case, about 32 organizations. You can ask it to create a longer list. You might say, I don't want 32, I want 50, and it will do that for you. And then there's also all sorts of nice filters here where you can decide what you want, and of course all of these headings, you can use them to order everything. And of course there's also links to the organizations, whether or not you're a strong fit for the organization, etc., etc. I'm not going to get into the details of this, but believe me, this is tremendously useful. When you look at the spreadsheet, if there's anything about it you don't like, you just go back to the prompt and you say, please change A, B, and C, and of course the language model will. But this is a great way to start. You at the very least know who out there might be the kind of organization you would want to work for before you even start searching for actual jobs. And then, of course, here's an important one. find and rank live openings, right? But given what it now has identified as organizations for which you would be a good fit, you want the LLM now to go and do a search, find jobs that are live at the moment that you can apply for, and then rank order those jobs by what would be a good fit for you. What are you most likely to be successful at, and what really kind of matches against your interests, etc., which of course the LLM knows now. So you cut and paste, you copy that, you stick it into the LLM, and boom shakalaka, this is the output that you'll get, more or less, depending on, of course, you'll be different to me, but I work in public health, so of course this is all about global health, etc. But you can see it's given an indication as to whether or not I would be a strong fit. It's got all sorts of information, and of course it's got links to the job application itself, where it is that it's based, and everything is filterable. And I could filter just by the WHO, for example, or global, or in Ireland, which is where I live, etc. Produces a reasonably good output. Again, you can change that prompt just by saying I want this to be different, and it'll make something bespoke for you. But it's a great place to start. Now you know what you can apply for. In the next video, we're going to talk about, once you've decided you want to put an application in, how do you get the best possible application into that organization? There is lots that you can do to make sure that you've got the best possible chance of getting the job. So stick with me, watch the next video, and I will walk you through that. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. There'll be a link on the screen that you can click on right now that'll take you to a web page where you can download this cheat sheet as it stands at the moment, and you'll find it tremendously useful. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make some comments, like, share, etc. Have a great day. Don't ever change, don't do drugs, always do your best. Boom shakalaka. Bye.